Hello everyone and welcome to the world famous Dave TV as featured on the Christmas X Matty G banter stream. Yes, don't worry, I shall still be selling that for the next 10 years. Now I heard that someone was about to leave YouTube, so I decided to get them in for an interview first. It is of course Adrian Suttill's long lost son, otherwise known as Joshua Suttill, or on YouTube known as Smooth Racing. Hello Josh.
Hello, Dave. Thanks for that introduction.
No problem whatsoever. Okay, first quick question are Formula One questions. Hulkenberg to Renault. Wow, that was a shocker.
Yes, definitely. It seems like Renault went kind of with a big shopping trolley up and down the grid, trying to put, Carlos Sainz in the basket, and there was a unexpected item in bagging area, and suddenly Sainz couldn't go to Renault. We had Perez, Bottas, we had pretty much everyone being linked with Renault. And then it's Nico Hulkenberg, who apparently was already signed for Force India, seemingly a few months ago, and now it seems like that was just an option. So looks like he's heading to Renault. So yeah, I think good move for all concerned, but like you said, a bit of a shock move.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see that one coming. And of course, does that leave any options for my favourite lady driver? Of course.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there'll be some kind of big moves. Someone else will move somewhere else, and then there might be a seat left there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Maybe
we can live in.
Not in Formula One.
Not in Formula One, no. We can live in hopes. Okay, so the next question. This is quite a biggie, and feel free to throw it back to me. What do you think of the current state of Formula One?
Oh God, that's pretty tough. Could be here all day, really. I say it's been better, but I think it's not as bad as people suggest it is, I think, at times, and I think there is definitely room for improvement, of course. I think we'll never get to a state where F1 is perfect, but I think we're not that close either, really, to it being perfect. It's definitely been better, but it's better, I think, than it has been in the past, and there is signs of improvement, signs that we could kind of get out of this current rut. I mean, sometimes we do get some really, really good races. Just look, earlier this year, we had to say the Spanish Grand Prix. We still have these really, really good moments, like Verstappen winning a race, like certain drivers like Perez getting surprise podiums, and Manley getting points. And these stories still make F1 what it is. So it's still a worthwhile experience, F1, but it's certainly not quite as worthwhile as it has been, even in this era, say back to 2011, back to 2012. I really, really did enjoy that era. Lots of on-track battles, lots of off-track drama as always with F1. Lots of the cars have been able to follow each other, been able to battle. We had different winners, and quite a lot of stories up and down the grid. We still have that, but I think going a bit stale with this kind of Mercedes Hamilton versus Rosberg. 3 years in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, obviously being a little bit older, I would think the current state of F1, think of your favourite movie franchise and think of it on its 6th sequel. That's how I think of F1 at the moment. It's a bit like Big Brother still on in the UK. It should have finished years ago, but they're still, every 6 months, oh look, it's Big Brother again. It just seems a little bit stale to me. Now, of course, as I say, I used to watch it back in the 80s and the 90s, and I think the thing that a lot of people have forgotten about is that it's called motor racing, not motor fuel saving. And fuel saving, it just really does my head in, Josh. I mean, the tyres are fine. You've always had to look after the tyres, even back in the 80s. That wasn't the problem, but this fuel saving is just it just frustrates me, Josh. It really does.
I think it does depend what era you were kind of brought up in. I think, say, your expectations, your kind of memories of the past. I think that definitely does depend, and of course that's very different for us too. So I think that's an interesting one, really. I think I don't have a bigger issue really with it, certainly as you do, but I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I think that's definitely one thing we could do about, but I think there are a lot of other things as well that we need to change. It doesn't matter if they weren't saving fuel, I think sometimes, because we'd still get similar races, but I think it would, in the long term, improve the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I'll just stop rambling on about that, because I could say about the current state of F1 for about the next hour. So we'll move on to the most important question, of course, and that is why you're here. you are leaving YouTube. So perhaps you can
Well,
tell us why.
yeah, well, we'll have to. It depends what's going to happen, but maybe I'll be staying on. But it looks like for the most part, certainly in terms of kind of F1 games and that, it's gotten a bit stale really on YouTube. There's a lot of different career modes out there, and a lot of people can make really, really high quality ones. People add different things, like obviously you definitely put a unique spin on it, and that's worth watching. And someone else who does hours of editing as well, that theirs is worth watching. But really, for me, I don't think I can produce that kind of high quality career mode that would be worthwhile producing. So I think that basically the market's moved on. The quality required now isn't what I can really deliver with the limited time I have. So I think I'm going to kind of refocus and possibly do more kind of F1 discussion videos and slowly just release a few videos each month. Nothing. It's basically scaling back the whole YouTube operation and possibly even starting a podcast and moving to that full time and then completely leaving YouTube possibly if that's released.
Yeah, I understand, Josh. Now, would you agree that the bigger, now I don't want to start bashing the bigger F1 YouTubers because, I get accusations of that, but do you think the bigger F1 YouTubers don't really give the smaller guys a chance to get, to grow and to actually get views?
It's a tough one. I think unintentionally they do that sometimes by them being so popular. It's not them thinking, oh, we're not going to help anyone. It's just let's just name it. Aaron and Tim and Malik, for example. They produce 7 or 8 F1 videos a week, and for some people, they're only ever going to watch them because that's the only ones they're going to be kind of shown to. It's the whole kind of problem with YouTube. It's not a problem with them. It's just that their way of using this system really means that it's very hard for any small F1 YouTubers to stand out. But I feel like they will eventually. I feel like that certain people will get through, and some people are limited. If you have a kind of unique spin on things, sometimes that's never going to appeal to a kind of a mainstream audience, but it will appeal to a group of people, kind of a niche audience that are really going to enjoy your content, and you'll still have a really, really good time on YouTube. And you just can't expect to ever get to the kind of Arava or Team Malik levels just because they're more appealing to the mainstream audience, and they've kind of got the foot in the door. I think that's a very hard thing to do now. If you're starting off now, it's very, very hard without a shout out from one of them, without collaborations. It's very hard to get in, even with unique content. I mean, it depends what you mean by unique. I feel like what you do is very unique because your kind of basis of every single video is unique. It's not a series idea if it would get unique. It's the way you commentate, the way you edit, I think, that would really make you stand out.
Yeah, well, my sort of commentary, I have to say, I base it on Murray Walker. I've seen a lot of people's career modes, and the thing that sort of dismayed me is that most people pick Renault, and most people are driving as themselves. I mean, driving as yourself, that's something you do off YouTube. Drive as a character, and then you'll be able to pull the audience in. But also I see some of the commentaries, and there's this sort of deadpan way that a lot of them deliver it. You've got to add some excitement and some emphasis in your voice like this, otherwise it's YouTube. There's thousands and thousands of videos that people can watch. They'll just switch it off and watch something else, and that, I think, is the problem. Of course, I've been on YouTube for 2 years now, and I have to say I've really struggled to get subscribers. I've just reached 400, which has taken me 2 years. But it's just one of those things that happens, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's all about expectation, really, isn't it? I think if you are happy with what you've got, if you kind of feel like, yes, I'm doing this, and if you kind of look at comments and people's support rather than kind of the number, I think if you're getting that, it's good. If you're proud of what you do, I think it is definitely a good thing. You could kind of spam out loads and loads of videos of a lower quality, of lower creativity. You might get more famous. This is the whole thing. If you didn't do F1, if you did say FIFA or some other thing that can get yourself a lot more popular, you might get a lot more subscribers. You might get a lot more of a fan base, but you're not doing something that A, makes you happy, or B, makes you proud.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never actually asked for any subscribers, and I don't actually ask for any likes on the videos either. So I'm quite proud that I've managed to get 400 just by being there, I suppose, is the way you could put it. But yeah, I do enjoy YouTube. That's probably one of the reasons why I've stuck with it, for the last 2 years, and I enjoy every video. But it is a grind. A lot of people don't realise how long it takes to edit a video. I mean, those videos that I do, usually about 6 hours from start to finish, and a lot of people think, oh, he just records the video, edits it in about 10 minutes, and it's a job done. No, it isn't. It takes a very, very long time, and I have to say the reward is basically it's zero, isn't it? I mean, you don't, unless you're a big YouTuber, you don't make any money at all, basically.
Oh yeah, in terms of financial gain, definitely there's no gain for it to be had there. It's like,
no, exactly.
Yeah, you can never set out to do YouTube for that. But I think this is why I'm a bit confused if I am leaving or not. Because I think it would be very hard to leave from going to a state where you're making videos and then just completely stopping.
Yeah.
Would be hard. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the future and that. But I'm just going to try and do videos that people are going to enjoy. And the ones that I can do consistently, probably staying away from series or these kind of career modes. Anything to do with F1 games, really.
Yeah, I have to say, I really did enjoy the fact that you did some of the older games, though, Josh. Well, obviously.
I know.
But yeah, they were really good, I thought.
They were just really hard to record.
Yeah.
I do appreciate as well the work you did in that with all the fitting the video size and that. Even something as simple as that obviously takes a long time to do. So that was a big hand.
Yeah. I do. I must admit, the PS2 games, they are a nightmare to put on YouTube. They really are, because as you say, you've got to fit the frame size now for the 16:9 widescreen, and yeah, it's quite a nightmare. And the quality, it's okay, but it's not brilliant to be fair.
The AI as well, and it's just kind of I kind of just liked playing it, offline really, and not posting it. I don't know. It was I think I mainly did it really because of channels like yours and Brad's and that, who kind of go back and play, old games or alternative games sometimes, just kind of not just F1 2016 or F1 20, whatever's current. Playing something completely different, I think, is always a good thing.
Yeah. So we've had F1 2016, I think, about a month and a half now. So has your opinion of it changed since it first came out?
Yes, definitely. I think, if you could just give me a minute, I made a review video of F1 2016 on the 22nd of August, which I believe was about a week after it came out. I think it was sometime like the 19th, something it came out.
Yeah.
And I did play you played the beta?
I did do the beta, yes.
So, I don't know how we got on, but we obviously did that. So obviously we did have quite a lot of time before then, and I played a lot of it on release. I've got to admit, I never really usually play it kind of a lot, but I've enjoying it to start off with. I really liked it. I thought the crew member was great. A few issues that I could see, but for the most part it was really good. And this was kind of before leagues had started, and we'd just done a few social races, and my opinion of the game was very, very high back then. And then pretty much as soon as I posted that review, my experience did get slightly worse. I think overall it's still probably the best F1 game that we've had on, it's by Codemasters, possibly not quite as good as 2010 or 2013, but it's all kind of down to your opinion. I probably played this one more than any other one in the first kind of month of release. So for me, basically, I think it was about what I expected it to be, where it's better than F1 2015, but still the same old issues are kind of dragging down the game. And I feel like the popularity of it has been affected by some of the big YouTubers. Like I said, again, it's not their fault. It's just the fact that their content is very frequent and very kind of hard for anyone else to get through.
Yeah, one of the problems I've had with it is actually the cars behind don't seem to be able to see you and seem to crash into you quite a lot. And it reminds me of one of the old PS2 games. I think it was F1 2001, which had exactly that problem as well. Yeah, the cars just seem to whack straight into the back of me, before even attempting to pass, which is quite a problem.
Yeah, you kind of have to learn how to drive against them, even if they're so aggressive.
Yeah.
Also, move out of the way, let them through, or kind of give them a lot more space than you have to sometimes.
Yeah, aggression seems to be the main problem with the game. I think, I mean, I'm playing it on Legend, so it's not, the ultimate difficulty, but they do seem to be a tad too aggressive, which I think, in real life they'd have all got about 14 penalties every race by now.
Yeah, they're so aggressive sometimes, and then so not aggressive sometimes. So they just won't go for an obvious overtake. But for
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
maybe it is different on a different console. But I feel like the AI are good, and I think overall it's a good experience career mode. I think the R&D, is a little overpowered, but still, it's enjoyable to see different teams moving up, and it's enjoyable just to see a career mode. Bit of a weird decision, not so that you can't change your helmet mid-season or any part of
Yeah.
the season, I believe. I'm not sure why that was put in, or not put in rather. The safety car glitches online have ruined the Xbox. I'm not sure about PC, PS4 and PC, but that's really hampered Xbox. I mean, I'm still having some really good league races, and it is still possible, but not quite where it needs to be. Hopefully, we'll get some patches or further patches for it. I think they are in the pipeline.
Yeah, the helmet change is it's not very good at all. And of course, when you first start the game, you're just sort of fiddling about with it. And you go, oh, right, I'll add that helmet and that design and whatever. And then of course, a couple of races in, you suddenly realise, hang on a minute, this is a 10-year career, and so you've got to use that now for the next 10 years. Which I mean, if someone's actually going to do a 10-year career on YouTube, which I personally don't think is going to be possible. I mean, I think the videos it's going to be about what 2 or 3 years before they get to the end.
Someone will do it offline,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Someone will.
offline they will do it.
I'd
Yeah,
be interested. Someone might have already done it now, but I would be interested to see what the R&D table looks like. And
yeah, I would as well. Yeah, but I mean,
I think,
especially uploading to YouTube, as we know, it's quite a nightmare. Even though it's supposed to be a video sharing website.
yeah, I think for the future, it'd be interesting to see where they go. Are they gonna? Of course, there's a new cars next year, so they'll probably be spending a lot of time on the handling of those or remodeling. They're gonna have to do quite a few redesigns. What do you think about what needs to change? I mean, we can talk about bug fixes forever. We can talk about AI. That they're kind of obvious things, but are there any kind of new game modes you could be seeing putting in? Do you think we need those, or do you think it's important for them just to focus on what we've got already?
Yeah, I think really just to build on the foundations of this game and just make subtle improvements. We don't want to go for another sort of revolution, otherwise I think we're going to go in the wrong direction again, because some of the previous F1 games, they had so many modes on them, you just never had time to play them all anyway. So yeah, I mean obviously we've got the wider tyres for next year, so that should be pretty good, well, hopefully. I mean all the real life drivers are saying it's not going to make much difference, but personally, I think it will make a slight difference. I mean, Max Verstappen won't be able to barge past the cars like he usually does for a start, hopefully.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully they'll get it right and modelled correctly on the game.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I would like to see some classic content, to be honest, particularly 1980s cars. But I think it's very hard with licensing, really. I think if they did it, they don't need to do what they did in 2013. They need to do it properly, where they have a full season or some kind of career mode, some kind of championship which you can do. I mean, for some, I think for I'm not sure about you, Dave, but I feel like that sometimes just driving the cars can just be fun for some people, but for others, and I think most people, they really do want a proper kind of game mode. And they weren't happy with what Codemasters put in for 2013, even though I did kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, I did enjoy the especially the classic tracks as well.
Oh yeah,
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 they were
but
really
that's the
good.
thing they can do.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to see GP2 as well and GP3. Well, especially with this Formula 2 apparently coming in next year, maybe they could do something like that. But just have some kind of different cars to drive as well. That would definitely add an extra layer. But I don't know. It's tough to see if they would do that. They probably will do that because that would increase the sales. Improving the game probably wouldn't increase the sales because people are still going to buy it anyway because it's an F1 game. But I think putting more classic content in would probably boost the sales because that's another thing you can put on the front cover, which is probably going to convince people to buy it.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I hope that they will just improve what they've already got, because it is a solid game. It's a solid foundation. It's just it's just the bugs that annoy me, and the fact that they have to release these games and straight away they need patches. I mean, back in the old days you couldn't do that anyway because the game came on a disc. That was it.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah, what
for that. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
what you got on the game was,
All those bugs are still in there. Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
like
yeah.
13 years later, still in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, or the famous F1 '98, which was absolutely riddled with hundreds and hundreds of bugs, but it was released and that was it. That was what you had. But of course, nowadays they can just say, "Oh, that's all right. We'll just fix it with the next patch," and
Yeah,
then the
cache
next
it.
patch, and then the next patch, and then the
I
next
think
patch.
it's
Actually,
always going to be a problem with it. They have to
yeah,
release an F1 game per year. That's always going to be a limiting factor.
yeah, time, of course, yeah, as you say, is always a factor. I mean, you've got something like the GTA series, which they only seem to be bringing out every 4 or 5 years now, and but when it comes out, it's basically what 100%, oh well, all right, 90% perfect.
Yeah, and something like Dirt Rally, they've had years to kind of do that. Even though that feels like a bit of an abandoned project for some reason because they haven't included any more tracks, which I thought they would do. But I think if they have 3 or 4 years, of course they could build an F1 game better, but they can't do that. And I think people do like the kind of you want to current drivers in teams, don't you? You got to have that in an F1 game, and they can't just people say, "Oh, just release it as DLC," but that's not going to make them much money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping next year, of course, because they had some of the members of one of the other studios, didn't they? Revolution Studios.
Of course, yes. Their
Yeah, I'm
influence
hoping
might
that.
kind of start to take effect next year.
Yeah, take effect next year. Of course, I don't think there was time to do it in this year's game because they'd only just taken over the studio, or at least some of the staff anyway. But yeah, hopefully next year that will start to take effect and we'll be able to see a really, really good F1 game, hopefully.
And of course, all the beta testing they did and opening it up, we can't forget that. That was very good of them, and
Yes, it was.
definitely a
Yes.
good sign for the future, I think. And not just YouTubers, but what was it? 300 people, I think they got on board,
Yeah, 300. Yeah.
and that
So,
definitely built hype and probably improved the game.
yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, Josh, for the interview there. As we say, you think you may be leaving YouTube, but maybe not.
Yeah, basically. Not yet.
That's usually what most YouTubers say every day, anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You wake up to do a video and you go, "Oh, I can't get on with this. That's it. I quit."
I'm back next week. Yeah.
Back next week, yeah.
So yeah, that's me. I'm gone. Back next week.
Back next week.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Josh. Anyway. So that was my interview with Josh Suttill, otherwise known as Smooth Racing. And I think whatever Josh decides to do in the future, I'm sure you'll agree from that interview that he's going to be very good at it. Now, one of the things as a small YouTuber we always aim for is 1,000 subscribers. So I'm asking now, as a personal favour to me, if you haven't done so already, please go over and subscribe to Josh's channel. He's currently at 770 subscribers. I'd also like to thank you all for getting me up to 400 subscribers, which I reached a few days ago, and I'd also like to now stop saying subscribers. I'd like to thank the 400 people who have now subscribed to my channel. Thank you guys and girls, you are all awesome as always. And as always, there will of course be more later.
Come lift your head up, the darkest light, echoes of